Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to provide a ministerial statement to share with you the progress the ministry is undertaking in the effort to strengthen a transformed culture sector for Fiji. One such is the National Museum, a statutory body established through the Fiji Museum Act of 1929 to manage, protect, and provide our national collections of objects and treasure which relay stories of Fiji rich culture. Mr. Speaker, sir, over and over again, we learn from diplomats, international visitors alike, and more than often, the best place to learn Fiji's history, people's heritage, and culture is at the Fiji Museum. Our new National Sustainable Tourism Framework highlights the importance of our cultures, traditional and creative industries in the promoting a holistic experience of our tourism. Now this begs the questions, are we doing enough to support our National Museum, the iconic cultural institution that has been in existence since the 1990s? Mr. Speaker, sir, while I acknowledge past governments and their efforts to support the museum's progress, it has always been an ad hoc and piecemeal assistance. In addition, these efforts fall short of addressing the serious neglect that the institution had endured in the past years. However, tangible changes are progressively manifesting in the form of innovative exhibitions and infrastructure expansion at the National Museum. Mr. Speaker, sir, if members of this august House and the general public had been to the Fiji Museum in the recent days, what you see is the result of hard work put in by staff, management, and its board of trustees, past and present. These are the real people that work behind the scene to ensure that our people, our international visitors, our senior citizens, our youths, our children get to see the renewed museum, offering an interactive experience that has been stagnant for the last 30 years. Through fundraising efforts of the Tokani Friends of the Museum, the sponsorship, mini donors, assistance from embassies, cost-cutting measures carried out by the museum board and management during and post-COVID-19 assisted in the expansion you would have seen. I would like to extend my vinawalevu to these individuals and institutions for your kindness and assistance, which came in when the museum most needed a shoulder to lean on. And this new look National Museum, Mr. Speaker, sir, is not the end to efforts by the government and the ministry to ensure that it gets the support it needs to transform itself into a national standard museum. Mr. Speaker, the old history gallery has been rebranded to focus on our creative communities. Its main objective is to engage visitors to learn and appreciate the artistic and creative excellence of our i-Taukei communities and other communities who call Fiji home. It looks at techniques and making of cultural treasure such as masi, woven fiber materials, pottery, including associated rituals, ceremonies, and governance. In this new financial year, the government is providing the Fiji Museum $970,000 for its operational grant and $700,000 for capital upgrade works. Mr. Speaker, sir, while we want such independent statutory institution to stand on its own, government must first take lead in making serious investment so that the museum can become sustainable in the near future. Mr. Speaker, sir, the increased funding will complement works that have already been progressed at this stage. The installation of solar panels promoting energy efficiency had progressed to phase 2, which will reduce electricity bill for the museum and alternate the main sources during power outage in sewer. Having a steady supply of water through the installation of water tanks and pumps at the museum will alleviate issues of unplanned water cuts at the museum, especially when there are high visitors entry numbers. Mapping out a comprehensive and aligned waste and sewage system in and around the museum infrastructure is critical, and works have also begun. The museum will also commence with groundwork necessary to build its new state-of-the-art collection storage facilities, which will cost $2 million. This will replace the current old building, which was built in the 1970s and has not been renovated ever since. Mr. Speaker, sir, my sincere gratitude to the Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources for facilitating our request in amalgamating the property lease area for the Fiji Museum. Since the building of the current museum in 1955, the museum lease space have always been relegated to the existing length and width of the building. Now, this has expanded to include the two former Nawela Hostel building, which house the museum administration and staff offices. This lease expansion has allowed the museum to expand its facilities and ensure safe and security of its premises. The renovation of the Nawela Hostel building will be completed in this financial year. The office will allow open space, working environment for staff, and dedicated room for specialized units to carry out their work, such as the archaeology lab and the exhibition workshop. The setting up of a robust IT system for the museum includes fire alarm, protection, and CCTV camera system is being planned and will be fully installed before the end of this financial year. This will ensure the security of our national collection and premises from hazardous threat that could lead to loss of and ruin of our National Museum. Mr. Speaker, sir, our National Museum is continuing with the implementation of its in-house activities to ensure that it fulfills its mandate. the development and rolling out of the museum education material is aimed at promoting interactive learning for our young people when they visit the museum. It is a 360 degrees archaeology project is an ongoing digital initiative that will ensure that the general public, the diaspora Fijians, developers, and visitors are able to see heritage sites and monumental features that are located in remote or inaccessible places around Fiji. The Fiji Museum Collections Project, funded by the United States Embassy Cultural Preservation Grant, has commenced and will soon recruit cultural youth interns to help in the documentation and community engagement aspect. Mr. Speaker, sir, with the increasing activities and development necessary for the Fiji Museum, it has its fair share of challenges. Management is currently working on recruiting qualified and experienced individuals to fill vacant positions so that our National Museum can deliver its mandate to the Fijian people. The Fiji Museum is looking also at having a sustainable funding source to complement the annual grant given by the government. This is key to business continuity and independence. Mr. Speaker, sir, the care needed to protect the 10,000 objects, textile, archaeological materials, natural history specimens, photographs, and documentary heritage need to be amplified if we seriously about safeguarding our cultural heritage. I ask our fellow members of this august House and the general public to rally around supporting our National Museum in its effort to create an inclusive space for everyone. Our collection effort will foster the new direction that the Fiji Museum is undertaking with a focus on the celebration of our history, our identity, our heritage, and our culture. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister, for that very important